Hello, good evening to you and welcome to Weekend News Update on Baina TV. This news is coming to you live from Atomic Junction, Benab House, Medina. Log on to our website www.bainamultimedia.com for more news. Here are some top stories that have been making headlines during the week. Police arrest Hobson Adoye for detonating dynamite in Volta region during 2016 polls. Fair Wages resume negotiation with Medical Laboratory Professionals Workers Union on May 21st. Government not recruiting NPP foot soldiers into security service, says Henry Korte. And police files injunction against Dumso must stop demonstration. Details of the stories comes up shortly. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Moving on to our first story, at the Third African Media Convention, President Akufo-Addo confirmed his government's determination to bring the murderers of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Suale to justice. Ahmed Hussein Suale was an undercover investigative journalist from Ghana, renowned for investigative works such as the exposure of corruption in the Ghana Football Association, named Number 12.
The Number 12 report also led to the dismissal and lifetime ban on its president, Kwesi Nyantakyi. Ahmed Suale has done several investigative works, including the one he partnered with the BBC about the sale of human body parts for rituals in Malawi. In a tragic turn of events, Hussein Suale was assassinated on January 16, 2019. Unidentified assailants on motorbike shot him thrice, twice in the chest and once in the neck, while he was in his vehicle. Despite ongoing investigations, his family has expressed disappointment over the lack of progress. At the conclusion of the Third African Media Convention in Accra on Friday, President Akufo-Addo assured the protection of the country's democracy and the efforts of law enforcement agencies to seek justice for Hussein Suale.
The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on Tuesday, May 21st, resumed conditions of service negotiation with the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union in adherence to a directive by the National Labour Commission. This follows an invitation from the Commission to the leadership of MELPU, the Ministries of Health and Finance, to resume their negotiation at the Ministry of Labour and Employment Relations on May 21st, 2024. The Labour Commission last Thursday ordered FWSC to resume and conclude negotiation with the union in a bid to avert a nationwide industrial action by the union. The invitation letter, signed by Professor Charles A. Opon, Director of Grievance and Negotiation at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, has slated the negotiation meeting for Tuesday, 21st May 2024. It will be the first meeting after negotiations stalled for months due to outstanding issues, including the absence of financial clearance for the Ministry of Finance. The long delay for the resumption of the negotiations triggered a reaction by the union, which planned to embark on an industrial action on Monday after giving the government a 20-day ultimatum on May Day to address the outstanding issues. But the Labour Commission intervened and, after a couple of meetings with both sides, directed the Fair Wages and Salary Commission on Thursday to resume and possibly conclude negotiations with the union by May 30th. In that regard, the Labour Commission impressed upon the union to hold on with their planned industrial action to enable negotiation to proceed. The Commission also urged the Ministry of Finance to give a mandate to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission for the negotiation to continue. Medical Laboratory Professionals Workers Union, in a statement signed by its General Secretary, Dr. Sifas Kofi Akoto, described the directive by the Labour Commission as a positive step towards addressing the grievances of the union. Following the invitation by the Fair Wages and and Salaries Commission. Dr. Akoto indicates that the union will, in respect of the advice of the NLC, put on hold the planned industrial action and await the outcome of Tuesday's negotiation meeting. He assured medical laboratory professionals of the commitment of the leadership of the union to ensuring the protection and promoting of their rights as workers. According to the union, the absence of the condition of service is adversely affecting the welfare of thousands of medical science laboratory professionals across the country, which jeopardizes the quality of healthcare service provided to the public. The Minister for Interior, Henry Korte, firmly refuted claims that the government is illegally enlisting members of the New Patriotic Party into the security service. The minority in Parliament has accused the government of illegally recruiting NPP members into the security service ahead of the 2024 general elections. The caucus claims that every NPP parliamentary candidate has been allocated 30 slots for enlistment into the various security service, a move they believe is designed to influence the December polls. Dr. Kazel Atuforsen, the minority leader, expressed these concerns during a press conference, warning that any unauthorized actions by these recruits, dubbed as NPP thugs in uniform, will be met with strong opposition from the National Democratic Congress supporters.
We wish to remind His Excellency the President, President Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President, Alhaji Bawumia, that they will not have their way this time round, regardless of whatever maneuverings that they will roll out in the 2024 elections. We will resist these shenanigans with all our might and all our strength. Our members, our supporters and sympathizers will not just defend themselves against unlawful attacks by the NPP thugs in uniform. We shall hold these NPP hoodlums personally responsible for their unlawful violation of the laws of Ghana and the legitimate rights of our people.
He said it is unacceptable for the government to continue to put cheap partisan considerations ahead of the overall peace, security and stability of the country in the run-up to the 2024 elections.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is unacceptable that the government continues to put cheap partisan considerations ahead of the overall peace, security and stability of our country in the run-up to the 2024 elections.
But Mr. Korte labeled the minority's claim as regrettable, emphasizing that the government is not involved in such activities. He further highlighted that recruitment has not yet begun, and when it does, it will not be conducted covertly. He explained that the government's intention is to clear the backlog of recruits from previous years, which is why there has been no advertisement. However, he mentioned that the agencies will soon disclose the eligibility criteria for the recruits. Away from that, the Ministry of Works and Housing has categorically affirmed that the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project has responsibly managed $200 million allocated for its operations. This statement comes in the wake of accusations from the minority caucus suggesting mismanagement of project funds.
In a statement issued on Monday, the ministry disclosed that as of March 2024, over $127 million had been utilized, with $65 million allocated to COVID-19 related expenses under the Contingent Emergency Response Component, a component agreed upon with the World Bank and included in the project appraisal document. According to the ministry, $34.33 million of the amount drawn down was used for garage activities, and the remaining $27.97 million represented the bank balances as of the reporting period, adding that the detailed expenditure breakdown was presented to Parliament. The ministry emphasized that the utilization of the project funds has always been in accordance with the project financing agreement, project appraisal document, and project implementation manual, and has always been preceded by the approval of annual work plans. These approvals, the statement says, are obtained from the Project Steering Committee and subsequently from the World Bank tax team, with the project consistently adhering to the guidelines in the financing agreement between the World Bank and the Government of Ghana. The ministry clarified that since the inception of GARID project in 2019, the project has been subjected to annual financial and procurement audits by the Ghana Audit Service, as agreed between the Government of Ghana and the World Bank and stipulated in the financing agreement.
The Ghana Police Service filed an injunction at an Accra High Court to prevent the Dumso Must Stop demonstration from taking place. This comes days after the Accra Region Police Command urged the organizers to consider relocating the planned protest venue. The organizers were also told to adjust the timing for the upcoming demonstration scheduled for Saturday, May 25th, 2024. However, in a fresh motion filed on May 20th, the police requested the court to order the organizers to halt the event entirely.
In a meeting held at the Regional Police Headquarters on Wednesday, May 15, 2024, discussions revolved around the notification of the public protest and its potential impact on public order and safety. Police expressed concerns regarding the proposed venue, Revolution Square, citing its proximity to the Jubilee House, the seat of government, which is designated as a security zone. Recognizing potential risks to public defense, order, and safety, the command recommended relocating the protest to the Independence Square. Additionally, the command highlighted apprehensions regarding the proposed timing of midnight for the conclusion of the protest. They cautioned that the timing could compromise security measures and escalate tensions, potentially leading to violence. Therefore, they advised the protest organizers to adjust their time accordingly. This event is expected to be the second time Ghanaians rally around a united cry against erratic power supply. In 2015, a similar demonstration was held against the power crisis that had gripped the country in the past at the time. It was organized by some Ghanaian celebrities, including Yvonne Nelson, to reiterate the fact that the power crisis was impacting negatively on production and putting people out of business while derailing national progress.
Moving on, the chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, Kathleen Addy, advised voters to reject candidates who campaign based on religion, calling them nation wreckers. She said it is the hope of the commission that nobody engages in religion-based campaign, emphasizing the NCCE's readiness to call such individuals out. She said the NCCE will also be paying close attention to religious intolerance and ethnic-based campaigns that are divisive and do not augur well for the country.
Speaking at the launch of the Inter-Party Dialogue Committees, Kathleen Addy warned that campaigns along religious and ethnic lines destabilize the country ahead of the upcoming elections. According to her, ethnic-based campaigns usually pop up during elections. This she described as unhealthy practice. She advised new voters to avoid the practice of voting along ethnic lines in order to help address the rising threat of religious intolerance. The NCCE chairperson urged voters to be cautious of candidates who focus on religion in their campaigns, as they may not have the best interest of the public in mind.
We are also paying close attention to religious intolerance and ethnic-based campaigns that are divisive and that do not augur well for us. The ethnic-based campaigns are something that we see popping up during most elections. It's a very unhealthy practice, and we hope that as time goes on, as we deepen and mature in our democracy, we will see less and less of that. In fact, it is our hope that the nearly 1 million new voters that will vote this year will not continue the practice of old of voting along ethnic lines. The other thing is religious intolerance, which is a new threat that we are dealing with as a country. It is a very dangerous development that now people want to couch messages in terms of religion, why one person should vote for one type of religion or another person should not vote for one type of religion. Let me reinstate here that when political actors come to you and say that vote for me on the basis of this religion or don't vote for somebody else on the basis of that religion, you must know that they do not have your interest at heart. Because we know that in countries where there are divisions along religious lines, there's never peace and harmony. Here in Ghana, we are fortunate. We have not had that problem in the past. And let this year not be the year that we start to create further divisiveness on the basis of religion.
The chairperson also explained the dangers of vote buying, warning that the practice could threaten the country's democracy. Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Aremiya Al-Shaib, cautioned the media to monitor and prevent decisive language during interview to preserve peace during the election. He also called on the media to play its watchdog role effectively to safeguard the peace of the country during the 2024 elections.
If somebody comes to your media house and is using, or excuse my language, he speaks in a very reckless manner without thinking about the implication of, one, the content of what he says, and two, the tone of the discussions, then you must be those who keep that discussion under control. Media discussions must be so healthy and seen as an opportunity to make an exchange in how we put ideas together and help us in a way as to really arrive at a choice of the best that is good for our country. And I think that she has made those points very, very clear to us. If you do not help us to do so, then you help us to break our country. We have only one Ghana. Anytime there is conflict, there is war, and we all run away and we cross the borders of Ghana, we lose the respectability of our identity. Over there, we are called what? If I was in the classroom, I would ask you a question. Over there, we are called what? Can you all answer me? Refugees.
Moving on, President Akufo-Addo released the KPMG audit report on the controversial Ghana Revenue Authority and Strategic Mobilization Limited contract. This comes weeks after the section of Ghanaians, including civil society organizations, insisted that the many infractions in the contract demand that the full report be made public.
The President commissioned KPMG to audit the contract on January 2nd, 2024, with a deadline initially set for January 16, 2024, but later extended to February 23, 2024. According to the audit findings, SML received a total of 1,061,054,778 from 2018 to date, while partially fulfilling its obligations. However, the report also noted that SML's work had contributed to an increase in revenue in the downstream petroleum sector. Contrary to the audit report's claim, SML has disputed receiving the said amount for its contract with the GRA, arguing that KPMG cited the figure without reference to the investment made and taxes paid during the review period. On May 8, the presidency declined a right to information application submitted by the Media Foundation for West Africa, seeking the full KPMG audit report, but the presidency has made a U-turn. In a first statement signed by the Director of Communications, Eugene Ayin, the presidency explained that the president, in the interest of full transparency in governance, openness, and honesty with the public, has decided to waive the privilege under Section 5 of the RTI Act and has directed the publication of the KPMG report in full.
A prominent member of the Movement for Change, Hobson Adoye, was arrested following his self-confession that he detonated dynamite in the Volta region during the 2016 elections. Mr. Adoye is currently in the police custody assisting the Ghana Police Service with their investigation. According to My Joy online source within the police service, Mr. Adoye was arrested on Wednesday, May 22nd. The arrest follows an interview he gave on a based radio station on May 10, where he claimed to have been part of an orchestration to detonate dynamite to scare voters in the stronghold of the National Democratic Congress to pave way for a new patriotic party win. In the interview, Mr. Adoye, who serves as a director of special duties for Alan Kyerematen's Movement for Change, explained that the dynamite explosions were intended to intimidate voters in the opposition stronghold of the voter region. He claimed that this tactic was initiated by the New Patriotic Party. Meanwhile, former Member of Parliament for Adenta constituency, Yao Boabeng Asamoah, suspects political undertones in the arrest of Hobson Adoye. According to him, the manner in which the Movement for Change member has been treated leads him to this conclusion. Mr. Asamoah, who is with Hobson Adoye at the ministry's police station, explained that all they have been told is that Mr. Adoye is being investigated for alleged publication of false information. Both Mr. Asamoah and Mr. Adoye quit the NPP to join Alan Kyerematen's political party, Movement for Change. The First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has emphasized the need for intervention addressing system gaps that contribute to the persistent occurrence of fistula in Ghanaian women. At a commemorative event against obstetric fistula in Accra on May 23rd, she advocated for a holistic approach to address the country's fistula-related impacts.
According to the Ghana Health Service, around 1,200 new fistula cases are recorded annually, with less than 20 of these cases being repaired, despite efforts by stakeholders. Funding mobilization, system strengthening, and active case search and repair remain bottlenecks in addressing the incidence of fistula among women in Ghana, and victims of the condition through no fault of theirs get to suffer the consequences for years. Speaking at the commemorative event against obstetric fistula in Accra, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo said women must not continue to face the adversity, adding that pregnancy and childbirth should be a positive experience for women. Hence, it must be ensured that women and their babies reach their full potential for health and well-being. She said it is important the country addresses the barriers to health care faced by its people, especially mothers who made the ultimate sacrifice of producing the next generation. The First Lady points out the need to address the challenges related to gender equity in health decision-making, focusing on long-term measures that will address the social, cultural, and economic determinants of fistula as well as malnutrition during pregnancy. The UNFPA estimates that the typical cost of fistula treatment, including surgery and post-operative care, is over $700, which patients cannot afford.
The national chairman of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, says he has lost faith in the principles of revered legal luminary and former special prosecutor Martin Amidu. According to him, he trusted Mr. Amidu as a very principled man until his recent petition to the President Akufo-Addo seeking to remove Kisie Jabin as special prosecutor.
Johnson Esiedun Ketia said his faith in the former special prosecutor Martin Amidu as a principled person is badly shaken. This comment comes after a petition dated April 30, 2024 was sent to the president by Martin Amidu, which was forwarded to Justice Gertrude Tokonu on May 6, 2024. Mr. Amidu alleged procurement breaches in the purchase of vehicles for the office of the special prosecutor and abuses cases involving judges and the administration of justice. Other allegations included violations of citizens' rights through arrest and detentions, violations of the right to information, and improper appointment of personnel to the office. According to the national chairman of the NDC, the motive of Mr. Amidu's petition remains unclear to him. He said he is surprised that the very person the former prosecutor once described as the mother serpent of corruption is the same person he would petition to deal with perceived corrupt acts. The NDC chairman stated that Mr. Amidu's decision to petition the president has weakened his credibility and undermined his previous effort to fight corruption, especially when his successor Kissie Jabin has come to a similar roadblock and the president is demanding his resignation. He said Martin Amidu should be showing solidarity rather than making himself the tool for the president to be able to achieve his objective of fighting those who are fighting against corruption. Mr. Sedun Ketia stated that he cannot support either Amidu or the special prosecutor until ongoing investigations are completed and more information is made available on the matter.
And that is how we wrap up. You've been watching Weekend News Update on Beina TV. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Have a good evening.